there for a little vacation, and so they could see the baby, you know, and all that business. And Cy's chore was to, they had a little village. It was it was real country, you know, and Cy's chore was to go to the village store every day to get the paper, bring back the newspaper, which he did this day. And I was inside with my parents and the 3 kids, and he's out in the hammock reading the paper. And all of a sudden he screams for me, "Come out here." And I come running out, and he hands me the paper. He says, "Read this." And it says, "Doctor's dentist draft to begin for Korea." And he said, "Do you see what it is? It's written for Cy Silverberg." Because we were just in that group, they were calling back everyone that had served that way and whose schooling was paid for by the government for whatever time, okay? He said, so we started to discuss it. He said, "What do you think I ought to do?" So I said first, you know, with the 3 kids, do you think, you know? He said, "I don't think it will matter."
Excuse me, anyone care for any more coffee?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to have a little more. You want another drink?
I'm good, thank you.
And he said, the best thing, so that where I would be safest, is to get into the Air Force, because a dentist in the Air Force is way far away from the action. You know, they don't have. And he said, "I think maybe I ought to consider enlisting so I could get into the Air Force." And he calls one of the doctors he had gotten friendly with, one of the medical doctors that was doing the same thing. He was interning to see what was going to happen, you know, with the government and the wars and stuff. And they both decided that that was the thing to do, so they could get into the Air Force. Everyone, you should have seen my father's face. I thought he was going to get a shotgun for Cy. He said, they'll never take you in a million years. You have 3 infants under, they were all under 5, you know, and all our friends, we had so many friends that were dentists, you know, and they all said, "That's crazy." And a lot of them had also, were in the same boat. They were there when the government took over the schools, and they all said, "They'll never take us. We have children," and all that business. Every one of them was not only pulled in, everyone was sent overseas.
Oh.
They all came back with some kind of problem. All kinds of things they came back with. None of our close friends were killed, but they came back in kind of bad shape. And Cy and his friend and everyone that enlisted that way, we were kept for 2 years. We were sent to an awful place, Wichita Falls, Texas. It's nothing but red sand that blows. And you can't believe, in this town, there were 2 synagogues. One was an Orthodox synagogue that had only 25 people that belonged, and one was Reform, and all the people that joined the synagogues belonged to both. Okay. Anyway, I'm telling you all this to talk about how children behave. The kids, our three kids were, they really were fantastic. Janie was born a mother. She was 18 months older than Paul. And when he came home from the hospital, it was the first time they came out with a little rubber-faced doll that, and a tiny toy, what we used to call bathinets. You would pick up the top and it would be a rubber thing to bathe them in, you know, and all that stuff. We got her one of those, and whatever I did with Paul, she did with her doll. And then, when it got time for nursery school, she never took her eye off Paul. She was always watching to see if he was all right. They called me from nursery school one time. He carried on so that they didn't take kids before they, first of all, they had to be toilet trained. But Paul was toilet trained. Janie made sure of that. Anyway, and he went to nursery school. And they called me. They said, they go out in the playground, and whatever she's doing, she's looking to see if he's all right, and no one's bothering him. So anyway,
And you finished the story
and
about
those were the days when if you went any place, the kids were all dressed up.
Annice.
No one ever went in T-shirts. We didn't know what T-shirts were for.
You saw those pictures of the kids when they were all dressed up with jacket and tie.
Mm-hmm.
This was in Texas with his cowboy boots.
So they would have meals at the club, and we would go there, you know, to have dinner, and that they had the manners too, you know. And, well, the colonel who was in charge of the dental group, so I was the captain.
Done?
Who's that?
Amy.
Hello.
Amy?
Oh, Amy, how are you, sweetheart? Did you call before? Oh, I couldn't get to the phone in time.